Right, so we're just going to start this part of the fox today, and then we'll see how the ear sits in the grand scheme of things, because on its own it looks okay, but I've just, we just got to make sure that this bit round here looks like it's going under, so that this part looks like it's going over. So I'm just going to use the Polychromos terracotta again, and so that's going to be your like an orangey brown for you if you haven't got the Polychromos pencil. Now, I mean, you can see in the reference photo it is actually quite brown around there, but I'm just going to add some more layers. So we're just going to take this very lightly, and we're just going to follow the fur. All the way down. So yeah, so that's the part of the eye, looks like the eyebrow there, and so we are going to want to go like that, so like gently backwards and forwards. Now, as I mentioned in the other videos, we will go back in once all the other colours been laid down, just to sort of make any, finishing tweaks. So we're just going to do this part on the edge here. So I'm going to lift out some of that pigment so that we can't see it as much anyway, but we're going to have some of the darker shades of brown in it anyway, and I'm just gonna go over it like that. As I say, if you've got too dark a line coming through, then you haven't got one of these, then you can just use a normal rubber, just dab it gently. So I'm going to go over like that, and also it's very light around there as well because of the light shining behind it. That, I think, is going to need a bit of subtraction on it so that we can get it in correctly. So that bit's fine. I think it's just this bit here. So just take your normal rubbers for this. Just get, if you've got a paintbrush, like a dry paintbrush, then just sweep away the bits that come off. Right, so, and then underneath this bit, so you've got the dark bit there, and then you've got the lighter bits there. I'm going to make that even lighter. What we've got here. So this is the raw umber 10%. There we go, which is the luminance one. But if you don't have a luminance, then you can always use a light grey if you've got that in your pencil set. Just going to try and add some of that. What I'm going to do is just try and subtract some more colour, because it is quite light around here. And then I'm going to just go in here. And then I'm going to use a light brown. So this is the Polychromos Raw Umber, but just use the, if you haven't got that, just use the lightest brown that's in your set. Just go very lightly up like that, because it is a bit darker around there. I know we're supposed to be doing that, but I just need this bit to settle in so that we can make this part look better. Okay, and then just do, I actually remove some of the pigment around there because I think, yeah, it just needs building up slightly. Just use that. Okay, so there we go. So just, yeah, okay. But we want that part. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think we can take out a bit of that pigment, because I've got another colour I was looking at the other day. It's Polychromos and it's a Caput Mortuum Violet. So it's a bit like a reddy brown, it's a bit like a burgundy. So you might want to try a light brown and mix it in with like a purpley colour, but don't press too hard, just sort of just add it carefully, because the fox is a reddy, well, it's got reddy browns in it. It has browns as well, but I think it shows off a lot of reddy brown in it. So I think it will go well in there as well. If you're using two different colour pencils, then, as I said, just layer it very carefully until you can see the colour that you've got. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just go with what you've got. Yeah, I think that's looking better with that colour on it. Yeah, I think that's right. And then for this bit under here, we can just use, I'm using the Polychromos Nougat. But what you can do is you can go in with a slightly darker brown for this part, and just carefully just build up the layers. And then just gradually bring it out. As I said, it'll all fall into place once it's all together. It's just making sure, you know, that it all sort of blends in with the same area. Okay, right, that's fine for the moment. As I say, we'll go back and sort that area out, I think, a bit later on. That's the thing with drawing. The piece of art actually evolves. So you start off with one area, and then once you bring all the other areas together, you might find that you might want to change bits, which is why we go in at the end and just make some final changes, you know, if need be. So we're going to go back with the raw umber, so that's your light brown, and what we're going to do is just do some more layering around here. Excuse me. Right, so this bit's still quite fluffy around here. Okay, yeah, that's actually going quite nicely there. And because that was flicking up there, that needs to come down. So we need to build this bit up a bit more with a few bit darker. So if we think about it, hang on, it's a lot of thinking with you know, making sure you've plotted everything. So we've got, so with that bit there, we've got a nice vibrant colour. We're going to blend this in, but it just helps to sort of plot the shape. Just doing it very lightly. And then over here, so you've got a few more over that way. Okay, and then just to make sure it's going to go over that way. Because it's quite vibrant in certain places and quite pale in others. Must remember to turn off the notifications of my phone. Sorry about that. So yeah, so then you've got that bit there is right. So I'm just going to make it a bit more vibrant. But then it goes lighter again around here. But it's also got some other bits going under. So as you can see, each stage that we do, it's all gradually coming together. So that's that bit there. Then we've got that bit there. I'm going to add some Caput Mortuum violet on there, I think. And then we've got that bit there, because we're not going fully up to the top because it needs to be extremely light on that part. So we're going to remove some of the markings on there because it's got the light behind it. So what we're going to do is just go around that way. Keep making sure that you're following the direction of the fur and the shape of the head. So you can see it's gradually sort of coming into focus. Just bear with me. Okay, right. So just keep, yeah, because that's coming down that way. And again, I'm using the pencil quite far up so that I can have more range of movement. So that is gonna go that way, and just being mindful that we are following, as I keep saying, following the curve and the shape of the fox. So again, there it's a bit more vibrant. Like that. But we are going to build up in certain areas. I just want to get a build up the layers of the terracotta or the orangey brown, and then we can build on top of it. I just want to sort of get more of an, you know, another layer of it so that you can see it. Ooh, so that you can see it through when we actually start doing some subtraction. So this bit's going to have a darker shade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this bit. So I'm going to use the lighter brown, which is the raw umber. And I'm just going to start layering up around there. Actually, just use the paper again. Okay. So, just very light. Oh, light keeps flashing. I wonder if it's to do with my charger. Just bear with me. Yeah, there it is. That's fine. Okay, right. I'm just going to take out a bit there because I think, personally, I think that should be lighter, and then the bits there should be slightly darker. So it's interesting when you actually do a piece of work and then you come back to it the next day, you can see, should have done it that colour, or I should have done it not so dark. Right, so this is actually a dark brown I'm using, that little one that was in the pencil extender. I just want to add a bit more there, and then a bit more there. Okay, and then this should be fine for the moment. So then we've got like a fluffy bit there. So if I use, you can use a light grey. This is the raw umber 10% again. So I want to make this, just go over that way. Try and blend it to make it lighter. I mean, there's going to be bits of highlights there anyway, so that's fine. Just going to try and lift out that. Just go in with a bit more terracotta. Right, it's all about trying to join it all up, so, and it can take, you know, building things up, taking things back, and then just gradually building it up until like you're happy with the colouring and the shape. So yeah, okay, just use the grey colour again, like so. I know we can't see that much on this pale paper. I mean, with this as well, you can also be lovely drawing it on, you know, like a black pastel mat. You'd get some amazing, yeah, amazing effects with it. Or maybe even like the anthracite pastel mat, which is the dark grey. I think what might be good be a white, or I've got a white museum aquarelle, which is it's a watercolour pencil, but it's perfect for doing lots of light colours. But if you haven't got that, then your white pencil will be fine. Just try and make it as fluffy as possible. Oh, made me jump. So yeah, with this you can actually kind of see it. Yeah. And so once we've finished this tutorial, it'd be great to sort of everyone can share, if you're happy to, your creations on the Facebook group. I mean, you don't have to if you don't you know, you don't feel comfortable doing that, but you know, it'd be lovely to see what everyone's created. So we're just using the light brown again. And we're just slowly building up. So basically the outline here is just for guidance only, so we know that, you know, we're not going to be going too far out, so that it keeps its proportion. I mean, this also would be great on a drafting film as well, because you'd get some great texture on it. I think, you know, it'd be great. What I'll do is I'll send out some different surfaces and some of the future boxes, and I'll send out some drafting film and also some pastel mat, so that you can try different surfaces if you haven't tried them already. So I'm drawing a woodpecker on a piece of, I think it's light grey pastel mat at the moment, and then I'm also drawing a pelican as well on a black piece, and it's the effect of it's just looking amazing, because you've got the white of the white and the lighter shades of the pelican on a black background, and it's it looks really effective. But I'm thinking for next month's, as it's like September now, for next month's box, I know we don't like the C word too early, like Christmas, but I was thinking of next month doing a robin, so that people can, you know, you've got a bit of time to draw it before Christmas, so that if you do want to have them make them into Christmas cards, like send them off to like Vistaprint or any other printer that does, you know, does those kind of prints. You can send people Christmas cards of your creation, and you'll know that, you know, there's going to be like a limited number of those out there, because, you know, you've got your way of doing it, and everyone usually comes out different. Even having the same materials, not everyone's drawing comes out the same, because everyone draws differently. So, you know, whatever you have printed out will be a limited edition, so they'll be unique. So I've been thinking of like some other animals to draw. Now, it's not all going to be all my own ideas what I want to draw. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a poll in there in the Facebook group, and then people can vote on what they want to, you know, what animal they'd like in one of the in the upcoming subscription boxes, and so that it makes it fair. Then everyone gets, you know, gets a chance of drawing the animal that, you know, that they really like. So yeah, so we'll just build that up a bit more. And around there, because it's going to start, this is the under bit, and the over bit's going to start getting lighter on the top, so we need to sort of define it. And so it's wider around there because it's the bottom part of the ear. And then it sort of starts to get a bit narrower. So what we're going to do, although this is lighter and it's not the colour that we're ultimately looking for here, it's just a base colour we're adding in, because then we're going to go in slightly darker. So we're just going to go with the Nougat again. So this, the next shade up, if you've got it, and just very lightly just begin to add colour. So this is quite dark. It's a bit darker, doesn't it, around this part? And remember, we're sticking to the direction of the fur. So it's going to start going more vibrant around that area. So yeah. Okay, so that needs to be, so it's looking a bit flat at the moment, but because we'll have the other colours, we'll build it up. So again, I'm going to lighten it around there because I think we've put too much darkness in there. So let's have a look. Have I got anything? What's this? Well, let's try the warm wear 40%. So it's another shade of brown. Just going to see what that's going to do. Because although we want it brown, we want it quite light. Yeah. And then we, oops, just gonna add a bit more of the light grey up here. Okay, right, let's get back to around here again. Okay, so yeah, just going to add a bit more there. I think in a moment we'll go in with the Caput Mortuum, so that'll be like the browny purpley red colour. And so if you don't have the exact colours, it doesn't matter. You know, go with what you've got, and you know, take the shades as nearest to what you think you could get for a fox. But yeah, if you do want to buy the pencils, you can buy them individually. Art Discount's great, and you can. I've listed all the pencils on the materials list, so you can just go through the list and yeah, buy them separately, which is exactly what I did. So then, because you find that you use some colours more than others, so then what you need to do is just buy them again when they run out. So like the blacks, for instance, for the polychromos, I've probably bought about, I've lost count the number of the black ones I've bought and the white ones, and tend to use the browns a lot as well. When we draw the robin next month, we'll get some shades of red in it as well, which would be great. What I'll do is I'll see if I can find something with something with a little bit of background with it, not anything difficult, nothing that takes too long, but something that's Christmassy. So then you've got a chance to draw it, time to get them printed off, and then time to send them out, or give them to people. Right, I'm just going to see if actually I'm going to try the terracotta on the luminance, but you can go and use the orangey brown again. I'm just going to see what this will do, because it's quite rich around here. Yeah, That's looking good. That's looking good. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. So when I send out the next box with the different surface than this, you'll see a huge difference. I just thought we'd do it on this sketch paper for the first one, and then we can move on to a different surface. Yeah, that's going pretty well. So I've just got to remember to leave that lighter and then go in darker there. So it's kind of like we did with the ear. Just under there as well. It's going to add a bit more to there. And again, we're going light. Yeah, it's a nice colour, that. Just in that bit there. Yeah, it's a nice colour. Yeah, I mean, if you can invest in this one, it's a really good one for the Vox, but as I say, don't worry too much. Just gonna go up there. It's always best to get the polychromos if you're going to use them, to get them down first, because they're a harder pencil, and once you've got all of your base colour down, then you can use all the other pencils. But if you know, you don't have to have these pencils. That is going to go there. Just want to add some more around there. And then add some more there. So you can gradually see it's starting to take shape with all the colours being added. Just make sure you follow the shape of the fur. I know I keep saying it. There. Now when you draw on drafting film, you don't have to transfer any line art, because what you do is you place the line art underneath the drafting film and you can see the line art through it. So it's really good doing it that way. I mean, it doesn't take many layers, but the good thing with you know, the double-sided drafting film is the fact that if you find that you've already put enough layers on and it's not going to take any more layers, you can turn it over and add the colours on the back as well, because where it's like translucent, so you're going to see the colours really well. We're going to use the subtraction technique as well on this part. But yeah, so then we can start seeing some texture. Okay. Yeah. Let's go back under there, because these bits are going to be the lighter bits. And very faint there. Yeah, because we've got to go lighter with this part. So I'm just gonna although what I may do, sorry for the change, is get the layers in and stick with the process. Like I keep saying, just gotta stick with it, make it go through the ugly stage, and then you know, we can start taking away some of the pigment, and then we can see the texture just like we did with the ear, because it does work out. And we can't rush it. So I think what I'm going to do with this part is mix it with, although it's got a lot of white in there, I think I'm going to use, if you've got any like a cream or like a yellowy white, this one's the brown ochre 10%. I'm going to use that as part of the highlights, and the light brown. As I say, it doesn't have to be exact. But that's a good thing, you know, it's your work. You can put whatever colour you like. But yeah, no, I use art as a really good way of, you know, unwinding, relaxing. You know, and I like to draw every day. You know, I do these for the subscription box, but I also, you know, and you know, I love drawing these because I love drawing animals. But sometimes I take on, you know, take on other little mini projects for myself. Yeah, so it's gradually coming together. So just got to stick with the plotting of the colours, because this is going to come through underneath. I mean, this terracotta's a different, so with different brands that you have, you can have the same colour. So the Polychromos terracotta is a different shade to the luminance terracotta, but they both work out really well. Okay. Some of this needs defining a bit more up here, but again, we will go through that towards the end. So, yep, just follow it around like that. So I think we're okay for this at the moment. I know it needs darkening a bit, but I don't want to go too far because I want to start adding in this texture around here and build that up. And then so just keep going up like that, because that's, if you look at the way that the fur is going towards the top of its head, you can see it just like looks like it's just flicking up like that. That's actually quite dark, that bit of line up, so there you go, just take it down a bit, there we go. Okay, so again, don't go quite up to the top there because it needs to be lighter. There. See, the more colour you add to it, it's coming alive, and you know, that's what I like. It just comes alive, you know, at the stroke of each part, you know, each part of the pencil. And that's what I like about colouring pencils. I mean, yes, it's slower than paint, but I think for me, I can be more precise, and you can get such good effect with pencils. Such an amazing, you know, piece of medium to use. So just keep following it around really lightly. So which one? Yeah, so there's kind of like a line there, isn't there? Which is when I think it looks like around this part is when the fur goes into that direction. So we'll just go to about here for now, but we won't add too much of a line because we want to be able to blend it when we get to the middle part. So I've left lighter bits because, I mean, you can see it's, I mean, this is more of an orange, but we're going to go over it, although some bits are quite vibrant, as I keep saying. So like down here, for instance. very light over here, because this is where all the lighter parts are going to be. Okay, so the next one is going to be the raw umber, which is the polychromos one, so that's the light brown we're going back to. So it is slightly darker around there and down there, so you can just build it up from there. Yeah, and we want to ensure that it's got a bit of a ridge there, but we also want that bit, because it's quite a roundish part from there. So we want to build that up there. So that forms part of its brow. Okay, so then under there like that, then we're going to want to use a slightly darker brown to go up through there. But we are going to use this, like I say, the subtraction technique, because we don't want it too dark, and also it goes a bit light around there. Oh, keep hitting the camera. So it's kind of, so it's, yeah, so it kind of like looks like it's poking out a bit. Yeah, it is. So it's just about blending the colour. So just keep building up lightly on that. So down the boards towards the bottom, it's darker. Just going to use the grey colour just to sort of make it a bit lighter. And then what we want is this is the brown umber, so it's a slightly darker one again than the other one, because what we want, because although it's dark there, what we haven't done is, because it's got to go under there, it needs to be defined a bit more. So it's darker there, comes out there. So then it just makes it a little bit more three-dimensional. And then we go in with, I don't know whether this is the brown ochre, so it's like an orangey, browny, yellowy colour. And then we can just blend it out. Yeah, that's looking good actually. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Right. And then we work this part. So I'm going to go in with the raw umber again. So that's the light brown. I think what I'm going to do is sharpen it. Just to give it a bit of a point on it, because when I was trying to add some details to it, so just done it like that. So just want to bring it around. So we've got that. So I'm just thinking out loud here. So it does need to be like the, forget the terracotta. We need to bring that in as well, because it is like a orangey brown. See, where we've been using lighter, pressure on the paper, we can add more layers, but we do have to go careful. Excuse me. Right. So I want to bring that way. Right, so that's where the dark bit is, and then you've got another section coming out over that way. And so you've got that bit coming over there, but this bit, although it's coming over, it's not coming over quite as flat. There we go, so we can get towards the that brighter terracotta colour there. Okay. And then it's gonna want to flick. And it just goes, and it's going to lift out that pigment, sorry, excuse me, the line up. Okay, so you can notice that, yeah, the actual fur in this part goes that way and that way, so we're just going to go over, because when we do the subtraction part we can actually put the pattern in there. And then what we can do is, once we do the subtraction part, we can then go under like we did for the ear. So it gets built up like that, because it's looks quite bushy, that part. So we've, oh, just bear with me, that's it. Right, trying to make it so that's not so much of a line there. So what we can do is a bit darker around there. So if we just use the, just going to sharpen this one as well actually. So this is the next shade up. Okay, right. We just don't want it to be harsh, so that it's looks like there's a line there. And then, so we've got that bit there, so it is darker in there. But we want to make it as natural as possible. And it does go over that way. So you can see, because we've already placed down the terracotta colour, it just gives it a slightly different colour hue to it. It's slightly darker there. Again, we want to blend it. Because we are going to take some of the pigment out of it. I'll keep bashing the camera. So as you can see, it's beginning, because you've got different colours coming in, and it's got different way that, you know, that the fur is going, you're following it, it's actually beginning to build up the structure of its head. So yeah, there's this part here that we want to bring that there as well, and because we're still using the same colour, but it's also had different pigment underneath, it's looking different. It's still got that line there, and this one's blended better. And so once we've taken out some of the colour, then we'll just go back in and go under and over, and that's how you'll get your the fur texture in. And we're going to have the darker shade again in here. So we just need to, we just put this down first. So if we go to the next shade, which is the burnt umber, and this one's already quite sharp, and what I want to do is make that as natural looking as possible. So we just got to make sure that we just don't have random lines going through, and that it looks part of the fox's fur. So we want to make it a bit more natural. Okay. Go for that darker bit under there as well. So it's starting to take shape and get a bit more character to it. Okay, so it's just a bit more dark around here. And so there's a bit more going around here as well. And then we just in a moment need to sort this bit out around here before we can do some of the subtraction. Make that darker there. And it's going to be lighter on that part, but we want to add a bit dark there. So then this part, yeah, so then going to add some of the brown ochre, so like the yellowy brown, but just for a bit of pigment. Because it's not really yellow, but it's, I want to add a base colour so it's blended. And I think it needs some more of the Polychromos terracotta. So I'm just going to add some more of that in. Because otherwise it'll go too brown. So just bring that in there. Add some bit more there. And then, yeah, and then over like this. And a bit more up here. Okay. Right, so okay, and then over that way. And then it's going to go this way. Okay, So then next time out we will start subtracting and then adding more pigment. So yeah, okay, so yeah, that's for next time round. So it's just all about this time round was placing more of the pigment. We'll probably add a bit more before we start subtracting, but yeah, that'll be for the next one.